Hi everybody, today we're going to learn about the Pythagorean Theorem. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it, and today is the day you're going to finally learn what it's all about. So, the Pythagorean Theorem is about right triangles and the relationship of the three sides in a right triangle. So, if you have a right triangle, and we usually mark the right angle with the little square, and the two sides of the right angles are known as the legs. And we label them as A and B. And it doesn't matter if you can change the B to the A and A as long as one of them is A and the other one is B. But the side that is opposite the right angle, is the side known as the hypotenuse. And we use the letter C for that. And in any right triangle, the square of A plus the square of B, it will be equal to the square of C. In other words, A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So, you can think about it as the leg squared plus the leg square is equal to the hypotenuse squared. And the two legs are the two sides of the right angle. Now remember that you pay attention to which one is the leg and which one is the hypotenuse. Otherwise, you could end up with the wrong calculations. The hypotenuse is the third side. It is opposite the right angle, and it's also the largest side in the right triangle. The largest side is opposite the largest angle, so it's the largest side in the triangle. So, in order to use the Pythagorean theorem, you really need to know how to use it by identifying which one is the leg and which one is the hypotenuse. And I like to teach my students that if you see the hypotenuse, circle it. So I'm going to take a circle and I'm going to look at these three sides, and the one that's opposite the right angle is my hypotenuse. In the second one, I'm going to look opposite the right angle. So this is my hypotenuse. So now I am going to simply know that the other two sides are the legs. So this side we call it B, and this is 16. These are the legs. 34 is the hypotenuse. Here 250 is the hypotenuse, and 240 and A are the legs. And remember that the hypotenuse will always be the largest side of the triangle. So you will be asked to find missing dimensions in various types of right triangles. So here is a triangle, and you're asked to find how much is C. So because it's a right triangle, you know you're going to have a hypotenuse. So take a moment and circle the hypotenuse. Once you have circled the hypotenuse, you're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. And the Pythagorean theorem is a formula. And like all math, if you are using a formula, you must first write the formula. So I've written my formula, and I'm going to plug in for the A, B, and C. And you may use a calculator. It turns out that C squared is equal to 441 plus 5,184. And so C squared is equal to 5625. And you have to find the square root of both sides. Remember, we solve equations by using inverse operations, and the inverse of square is square root. So the square root of C squared and the square root of 5625. And once you can do the math in the calculator, and so C is equal to 75. And we are not interested in the negative square root, only the positive square root. So in this first question, the hypotenuse has a measurement of 75 units. So let's try the second one here. Once again, I want you to circle the hypotenuse. So I'm going to take my circle and put it on the hypotenuse, which is opposite the right angle. So I know A and 15 are the two legs. So I'm going to write my formula, and I know 39 is given and B is given. So I have to find A squared. So I say, okay, A squared plus 15 squared is equal to 39 squared. Now, this is where many students will make mistakes and they will end up doing 39 minus 15. So be very careful. It is 39 squared minus 15 squared. When you do the math in the calculator, I'm just showing you. I think I rewrote it, but this is the math. Once you've figured out what a square is, you're going to find the square root of both sides. And the square root of both sides reveals that a is equal to 36 units. Okay. And so the next type of question you will get is they will give you some numbers and ask you if this can be a right triangle. So the converse of the Pythagorean theorem says that if three numbers satisfy the rules of the theorem, then those three numbers must be the sides of a right triangle. So again, I want you to always circle the largest quantity. This may be the hypotenuse. And then apply the formula, see if it is true. So here's your first question. So I have 7, 24, 25. It looks like 25 is the largest number, so I'm going to circle it. And that tells me that that is my C. So now I'm going to use my formula. And I'm going to substitute for the numbers and do the left side calculation and the right side calculation in the calculator. And it turns out that it is 625 is equal to 625. That means these three sides can be sides of a right triangle. These are also known as Pythagorean triples, three numbers that satisfy the Pythagorean theorem. So I want you to try these two. Pause the video and let's see if you can do them. Okay, I'm ready to reveal. So for my first one, I am going to circle the radical 74. I know radical 74 is the largest number because it has to be more than radical 64, which is 8 point something, right? So now I know which one is my A, B, and C. I am going to substitute, and here is the tricky part. What is radical 74 times radical 74? Turns out to be 74, and this is true. So yes, this makes a right triangle. In the second one, if you're not sure what 2 radical 5 is, you can look it up in the calculator, but generally, I know it's a little bit not as big. So that's the middle number that is not the largest number. 11 will be the largest number. Sometimes you may have to try all combinations to find out. So I'm going to write my formula. I'm going to substitute. And 9 square, of course, is 81. But what is 2 radical 10 times 2 radical 10? And that is 4 times 10, which is 40. And yes, this also makes a right triangle. All right, so these are the questions, and I want you to try your homework. Good luck. Goodbye.